let's start doing the serious stuff. Let's bring some colors into this channel. Enjoy the intro and let's start. Hello everyone, Phinnix here and welcome to another video of a multi-part series in which I'm gonna show you the whole process that brought me from the default cube till the animation you just saw. Today we are gonna jump into the shader editor, but first let's unwrap that little bird. Unwrapping a character is needed if you plan to add a texture, and basically it means that you take a 3D mesh and make a 2D version of it, as a union of different islands. To do so, select a few edges and mark them as seams in Blender. The method you should follow to choose the edges to be marked as seams is: try to choose edges that can be hidden or that will not be much visible in the future render. Try to separate the mesh with some kind of logic. Don't cut the face in many parts or in a not symmetrical way. Look at other artists unwrapping and try to understand why they are doing it in that way. As there will be feathers, this character is gonna be pretty easy to unwrap. I'm just trying to separate the front side from the back. And I'm gonna separate also the wings and the paws. And as usual I made a mistake that I will fix later. I missed to mark seams a few edges of the clothes. I got lucky this time with this mistake as it doesn't affect much the process. But if you mess with this face, it could become a huge wasting of time once you start painting texture. After you marked all the seams, in edit mode select all the vertices and unwrap the mesh. Now we can add two more panels, the UV editing and the shading editor. Be sure also to enable the Node Wrangler add-on, as it is useful while shading the character. In the shader editor, create a new material and connect a checker texture. It is useful to check the goodness of the UV islands. Basically, you can use the sides of the checker texture to scale up and down the UV islands in the UV editing panel. To make it simple, the bigger is the island, the more pixel it will use and the more details will be visible. In this way you can choose to give more importance to some parts instead of others. Once we are happy with the UV islands, let's jump into the shader editor and delete the checker texture, as we won't need it anymore. The logic I want to apply to shade Phinnix is to give him a basic main color. Then I'm gonna use a texture of black and whites to drive the way a second color is applied to him. To do so, in the UV editor I'm gonna create a total black image texture called secondary color. Be sure to save the image anytime you make any changes, as it won't be saved when you save the Blender project. In the shader editor I'm gonna add two color ramps and one image texture node. The image texture with the secondary color image selected will be connected to the mix input of a mix RGB node. In this way, the black portion of the texture will be shown as for the first color. The white ones are gonna be shown as per the second color. Doing so, you're always free to change the color ramp to get the effect you want. I choose to shade Phinnix in this not destructive way, as at this point I've not decided yet his final colors. Let's recall another panel, the texture paint. in which we can start painting the texture. Select the draw brush and in the brush settings select the add blend mode and the white color. Checking the X mirror option, you can symmetrically paint the textures. At this point it's only a matter of painting, and you can do it both in the image editor or in the viewport. To get a good and soft blend from one color to another, you can use the soften and smear brushes. But I have to be honest with you, in Blender this may be a bit annoying, especially at the edge of the islands. The benefit of this method is that I can now play with different colors and settings to get the look that I want. At this point I'm adding a gradient texture with the relative texture coordinate, and changing a few values I can get a soft blend between the colors of the color ramp. If you are not used to the shader editors node, I can imagine it can be a bit confusing, so I suggest you to check all the content available on YouTube to get inspired by the many possibilities you have once you start working with nodes. I'm gonna repeat the same logic other 2 times. I'm gonna use a 3rd color image texture for the eyes and the paws, and a 4th color image texture for the beak and the claws. While painting on a texture, be sure to select this texture in the shader editor and to open the same image in the image editor. This is where I found out the mistake I made at the beginning with UV unwrapping. Lucky me, it was related to the clothes and I haven't started adding details to them yet. So I simply marked the seam I missed and I wrapped only the post, so I didn't have to fix the other portions of the texture I've already painted. I struggled a bit finding a quick way to mask portions of the mesh when there are many faces close to each other. At the end I found out that in the viewport, if you go to edit mode, select a few faces and switch back in texture paint mode, enabling the paint mask button in the top left corner, you can easy mask all the unselected faces. This time, unlucky me, I found out this solution after a bit of trial and error. But let's face it, this is the beauty of Blender. You can do whatever you want and you will keep discovering stuff you didn't know about. I think that's enough for today. The journey continues with the next video, in which we are gonna complete the shading of the body of that cute little bird and we are gonna shade the eyes. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you will still be part of this journey, and in that case, see ya!